rabbi, there was a female rabbi. Yeah, do you know him, the guy who's just, right, he was sort of like... Yeah. Right, let's walk this. Your mic up. So anyhow, you might enjoy it. I don't think it will take me a long time to start reading. What's happening?
A new song. I think every Shabbat there's a new song of some sort that we're singing, something new we're grateful for, something new we've become in this week. And it's an opportunity to pause, to stop pursuing things, to stop worrying about things, or, I don't know, feeling a lack of things, but instead to just say, here's what I've got, here's who I am, here's who I'm with. So let's take another nice deep breath of appreciation and gratitude. Let's now turn to page 120 for the lighting and blessing of our Shabbat candles. And it's a pleasure to invite up Tracy and Ethan to lead us in the candle lighting and blessing. ritual of lighting the candles is so different from any other blessing and ritual that we do? Well, let's remember. So let's think about the wine and the challah, for instance. We say the blessing, then we drink the wine. We say the blessing, then we eat the challah. What's different about this? We light the candles first, then you say the blessing. Why? Why is it reversed? That's a beautiful midrash, because you're bringing light.
Because then it's Shabbat, and not supposed to light the candle.
When is it Shabbat? After the blessing, right? Once we say the blessing over the candles, Shabbat has begun. We have declared it, okay? Like our action, which is really interesting when you think about it's not just sundown, but it's our action of blessing the candles starts Shabbat. And then, therefore, you wouldn't be allowed to light the candle. You'd be stuck. You'd be like, oh, wait. You know, like, so what we do is, rabbis are so smart. They come up with a loophole. And Tracy, you showed it to us. You demonstrated it for us so beautifully. You light the candles, and that's why people cover their eyes, is to pretend we haven't lit them yet. And to then say the blessing, and then, oh, look, the candles are lit.
Well, that's really why you're covering.
For sure. Yeah. That's 100% why. Now, that doesn't mean that's not the reason that is given to everybody, because there are also beautiful spiritual reasons why. You know, about taking that moment of quiet and introspection. Some people do it because they saw their mothers or grandmothers doing it, if you grew up in a family where only the women did it. But that's how it started, was because you have a little bit of a legal quandary here with the candles. And so we cover our eyes to get around that prohibition. And now they're lit. So thank you. Yeah.
Also, you can't bless the candles that you lit if they're not lit.
So she said you can't bless the candles being lit if they're not lit yet. She's a good one. I told you she's the assistant rabbi. So what's interesting about this, I'm thinking about the Hebrew of the blessing. Lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. So God, you commanded us to light the candles. Or in the lighting of, you can go with the gerund if you wish, in the lighting of the candles. What does that mean? The candles need to already be lit. Morad David, what do you think?
But we're not blessing the candles,
Nor
the fire for that matter.
We're blessing the lighting.
We're blessing God who's commanded us to light.
Right.
Did ask a lawyer.
I didn't know what you said.
I did ask a lawyer.
Blessed are you
Who has commanded?
who has commanded us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
How does that compare to blessing of wine?
Okay, so let's think about that. This is a little bit of a diversion, but I appreciate it. Thanks for playing. So with the wine, it's Borei Pri Hagafen. So God, we're blessing God who created the fruit of the vine. Right? The creator, actually, of the fruit of the vine. And then Hamotzi Lachem and Haaretz, God who brought forth bread from the earth. So those are really about things God did. But this is an action we take. So it is a little different, too. And this is the only one of the three that has the Asher K'Nishana B'Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu. Meaning it's because it's a commandment that comes from the Torah. Anytime you have that formula, that part of the formula, Asher K'Nishana B'Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu, that means it's a commandment from the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen doesn't have that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz doesn't have that. The Asher K'Nishanu part means it comes from the Torah. So bread and wine. You never thought of that? Is that what no? Are later traditions than Torah.
What do you think about covering your eyes or sort of suspending the belief in time?
Yeah, that's a great point.
So,
You're suspending in time.
Yeah.
Can you say more about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we are commanded to light the candles to initiate Shabbat, then you have to have a point at which you're not measuring anything. So, and so by covering your eyes, you're suspending your belief in the fact that time has passed.
That's cool.
So that you blink and the light's on.
Yeah.
And so this is just a protracted blink. Does that make any
Did you
sense?
ever put those words together before? Protracted blink, you're like that.
I got my picture in the post office for doing that.
But that's interesting that we are in a way pausing time to allow this ritual to happen for a moment. Any other thoughts on this? You tried to perfectly with the trainer too, so thank you. Yes, my dear.
So we're blessing that God commanded us to light the candles?
Yeah,
That
that makes more sense. So we're blessing that God commanded us to light. We're expressing gratitude for the commandment. Norma, you were in your hand?
No,
You were stretching.
I
Oh, it was a keeper replacement.
yeah. I don't have anything to clip on to.
It's also, we just covered that episode.
Yeah, that's raining.
Strap. I'm Jen. She's like, project. Let's turn together.
Just shouting something.
Let's go to page 138. You are all wonderful and amazing. For the Chadodi.
Shabbat.
And now let's stay standing and turn to page 144. Page 144. Page 144. For the Chatzi Kaddish. Amen. We join together on the top of 149 in the English. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven stands to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 150 in English. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 154. of our redemption from Egypt. And part of that reminder is not just to celebrate what happened in the past, but to nudge us to make sure it continues to happen in the future for all. So is there somebody who would be comfortable reading it out loud for all of us, this reading at the top of the page? Thanks, Pat.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
tefillah, the central prayer of our worship service begins. Please rise. Shalom. Shabbos. Oh, that one always leaves a spell. I always am hesitant to break it. I hope you all are feeling some Shabbat. I don't know. It feels like a time when we all just need Shabbat. We need to allow ourselves some Shabbat, because that's just as hard. Shabbat's there, whether or not we take advantage of it. But hopefully, we're all letting it in just a little bit tonight. If you're letting it in even more, awesome. Let's capture some of this beautiful Shabbat feeling. And let's take a moment to pray that others are also able to feel a little bit of that sense of peacefulness, that wholeness, the safety that Shabbat brings. That sense that for even just these moments, it's just about okay. Even when there's plenty of reasons in life, but for right this second. And we send this nice feeling to people who are in pain, who are struggling, who are suffering from illness, from injury, from pain of mind or of body or of spirit, people who have lost their homes in fires, people who have lost family members and are mourning. And we just want to send just even a fraction of what we feel in our best moments, that they get a little bit of respite. And so join me in sending prayers for Rifluah Shalema, a return and a healing filled with wholeness and peacefulness to Reagan Konecki, Shanti Nicola, Nancy Schwam, Sam Rosenblum, Miriam Swidler, Simon Alexander Petty, Larry Mancini, Charles Savitt, Debbie Clymer, Layla Phillips, Burl Bellows, Josephine Stricker, Cindy Rishal, Dovie Ben Mayer, Arthur Myers, Iris Clark, Stacy Reed, Michael Price, Jim Nickel, Nan Kraszewski, Susan Furman, Marty Schickman, Fred Schaefer, and Francis Mose. Who else are you thinking of tonight and you'd like to share their name out loud?
Precious first. Ken Bannerman.
Steve Newman, Steve, Mike Montel.
Here's I think she Lafayette and family.
Yishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka le'Avrachel v'Yivarech v'Yirpeh et kol ha'chalim ha'ela. May the one who bless all of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, bless and heal all those who are ill. May they return to us soon and to themselves with a healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. We praise you, God, who cares about the sick. And let's say together, Amen. And let's join on page 371 in the words of Yishaberach.
Help us find the
those who have returned safely from a trip far away and they've come back home, and those who have escaped danger in some way. And so on behalf of all those in our lives who have experienced those incredible gifts, we take a moment to praise God, who allows good things to happen in the world around us. And let us sing together. Amen. So what are some of those good things too? Who has a simcha, some smachot that they would like to share with us?
It was Norman's birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday! Yom Holadet Sameach! And many, many more. Your post on Facebook is so cute.
I'm not Facebook. It's
This one over here? Yeah. Well, happy birthday, and many, many more.
Thank you very much.
And we've got a little tchotchke for you, if you'd like a little mini Rubik's Cube or something. Little Transformers pad. But happy birthday, congratulations. Other birthdays, anniversaries, happy things going on in your lives? Just came back from a trip to Israel.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us?
Had a great time, saw Rachel, wow, it was wonderful. Perfect weather the whole time, except for the last day. Yeah.
Oh, well, welcome back. And when is she done with her semester then?
28th of December.
Wow, and then she's coming back?
She'll come back for, she has to be back at school on the 9th. She doesn't look much.
Oh.
She's not happy, but.
So we can't maybe have her come and speak about her experience at all?
Maybe when later.
Maybe, okay. Good.
That's just it.
Oh, neat. Wow, Petra. Has anyone here been to Petra? No, we'll have to talk to Brad and Lori Jubileer because they went before our congregation's trip. And, oh,
That was an honor.
was Petra?
Yeah.
Nice present. All right. Very nice. What else is going on in people's lives?
One of my actually not a former student over the past 20 years just won Grammy.
Mazel tov. That's all that matters.
Latin salsa album of the year.
Salsa album of the year. But then you had a real adventure trying to get back from there, it seemed like. Huh.
Letting me know that it was his Grammy, not mine. I got to sleep under a grand piano in Detroit Airport. It was really good.
There are worse places to sleep in Detroit.
Was somebody playing it?
Yeah, me.
Well, mazel tov to you and to your student. That's very exciting. All right, good. Well, thank you for sharing these sweet things with us. Really lovely. I want to share with you a quote by Morgan Freeman. I can't possibly capture his voice, so you'll have to picture it in your head. But it's a very intriguing quote. I knew at an early age I wanted to act. Acting was always easy for me. I don't believe in predestination, but I do believe that once you get wherever it is you are going, that is where you were going to be. Was I always going to be here? No, I was not. I was going to be homeless at one time, a taxi driver, a truck driver, or any kind of job that would get me a crust of bread. You never know what's going to happen. So is Morgan Freeman right? I mean, look, he did play God in at least one movie, 2 movies, more, right? Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty, there are probably more. Do we never know what's going to happen? Or is it all set into motion at the very, very beginning of the story and we're just players in the larger narrative? The biblical story of Joseph forces us to really wrestle with this question. It's one of the most compelling occasions of a seemingly predestined event that doesn't seem like it's going anywhere good in many, many parts of the story, but then it turns out that is just where he was going to be, was supposed to be. We even see Joseph share his opinion about this, about the ups and downs of his life, and the fact that he thinks that they were beshert. Doesn't use that word, beshert, meant to be. And in this week's Torah portion, Vayeshev, we meet Joseph for the very first time. And we're at the part of the story where, boy, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any kind of happy ending for him. Immediately at this introduction to Joseph, he's immature, he's arrogant, he's got an ego, and he's more than a little annoying to his brothers. His father Jacob had already made it clear, and this doesn't help anything, that though Joseph is the 11th youngest out of all of his sons, he is his favorite. Why do we know this? Because of the amazing Technicolor Dream Code, right? And so Joseph gets this code, and then he keeps having these dreams. In one, he witnesses 11 sheaves of corn bowing down to his own sheaf. It'd be one thing to have that dream and keep it to yourself, like probably most of us would do, but instead he runs up to his brothers and tells them, I had this dream that there were all these sheaves of corn and they bowed down to mine. And oh, there happened to be 11 of you and 1 of me. What a way to make friends with your siblings. And then he has another dream where the sun and the moon and the stars are all bowing down to his star, meaning that not only are his brothers bowing down to him, but his parents will be as well. Yeah, his brothers are not too happy about this. And so what do? Who remembers what they do? What do? Yeah, well but that's like the third horrible thing they do to him, right? That they sell him as a slave. First, they throw him where? Into a ditch, into a pit, right? Then they start to feel maybe a little guilty about it, and so then they sell him. Maybe selling him is the second crummy thing they do. The third crummy thing, they take the amazing Technicolor Dream Code, right? They dip it in goat's blood to bring back to their dad, Jacob, to say, oh, sorry, your favorite son has been killed, right? Lots of crummy things. And we always wonder, how would you feel? How would I feel? How would we feel if we were treated that way by our siblings? Now granted, Joseph is not blameless, but he's got plenty of reason to be upset with them after all of this. You fast forward to the ending of the Joseph story, when he is finally standing face to face with his brothers, and after a number of important events where he's testing them to see if they've changed at all in the many years since they had last seen each other, and Joseph finally reveals himself, his own identity, to his brothers. Why does that matter? Why did he have to reveal himself? Because a number of events led to him becoming one of the top advisors, if not the top advisor to the Pharaoh. And he's the one rationing out the food in the middle of a famine that's going on all over the world, according to the Torah. And Egypt is the only country prepared. And the brothers have to come to Egypt to ask for food. The brothers don't realize it's Joseph. How do you think they act? What do you remember? What do you think?
I don't remember anything about that, but I remember he did learn this, and I think it was, I forget what it's called on Wednesdays, so I don't know but,
Torah study with Rabbi. And sometimes with Mariah David. Yeah?
where, he, like, puts the first drinking cup in one of the youngest hands.
Yes. Yes. Joseph brains his youngest brother. The only one who's his true full brother, right? The others are half brothers. But Benjamin is his full brother because he was also born from Rachel, who was Jacob's favorite wife. Had 2 wives and 2 women he also had kids with, right? I would like to refer to those. I'm explaining to Eva. So Joseph tests them. What? She can take it. I know, she's a cool gal. So he plants this cup, and how do the brothers, once they realize Joseph planted that, and there was the whole test and everything, how do you think they feel? How do you remember that they feel towards Joseph or about Joseph? Anyone can answer this question. How would you feel feel when you remember something you did that wasn't so great, and you go back and you are confronted with that person again? This is a theme that returns a few times in the Torah, by the way. Well, interestingly, the brothers aren't scared. They're concerned about how Joseph's going to treat them, but Joseph says, it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. God sent me ahead of you into this place? Because Joseph was able to correctly interpret Pharaoh's dreams about the 7 years of plenty followed by the 7 years of famine, and Egypt and its surroundings were able to survive this extended food shortage. But the theological assumption behind Joseph's statement raises a lot of questions for us. In the Joseph narrative, as in many other parts of the Bible, we see that the hand of God is present not only in these miraculous interventions like the parting of the Red Sea, but also in everyday life with our siblings, with our family members. The brothers may have had a certain plan in mind regarding Joseph, whom they resented and despised for plenty of good reasons, but God had a different preordained plan for them all. And so in truth, it seems as if Joseph and his brothers are tools in God's hands, with Joseph ultimately there to be a lifesaver. And for the modern liberal Jew, I don't know about you, but this brings up the huge issue of free will. Right? If God knows what we'll do and in fact controls our actions in some way, how can we be free and therefore responsible for anything? Whether we like it or not, the Tanakh does not look at this issue in any kind of uniform way. Like on one hand it states in Deuteronomy, I set before you this day life and prosperity, death and adversity. Choose life. Right? Here's your choices. I hope you choose correctly, but you've got choice. And then on the other hand, in Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, it says, many designs are in a man's mind, but it is the Eternal's plan that is accomplished. It's all God's plan. And as one might imagine, this is a matter of great concern for the rabbis and the philosophers forever. Some choose to recognize the dilemma but just leave it unsolved. For example, Rabbi Akiva teaches in Pirkei Avot, all is foreseen and yet free choice is given. All is foreseen, and yet free choice is given. In medieval times, some Jewish philosophers attempt to provide an answer. 14th century philosopher Chasdai Kreskis argued that God has total foreknowledge, and consequently, humans are not free. Hence, all of a person's actions are predetermined from the moment of their birth, if not sooner. And thus their judgment is in the eyes of God as good or evil, is ordained, is preordained. You are good or you are evil, period. Which nullifies any concept of repentance or change. And as you might guess, Kreskis' views on this topic were not widely accepted or adopted at all. And then we have the opinion of the 13th century theologian named Gersonides, Levi ben Gershon, who maintained that we have some freedom because God has foresight only of things in general, not the little details that make up the actual event. Maimonides, who were studying on Saturdays and scrollers along with Rashi, were all invited. Maimonides compromised by saying that everything has a cause, and therefore, what's the ultimate cause? God. God is responsible ultimately for our actions. So that's when we think about the fact, or when we think we are doing something freely, we act without realizing the workings of divine providence behind our actions, which are really just unknowable to our minds. So we think we're free, but we're really not. So who do you agree with? Which opinion resonates with you? You know, perhaps Maimonides is the easiest to accept. Better that we think we're free, and we're not really, but at least we think we are. You know, we don't fully understand how the world operates, but we act with the assumption that we have this free will. And yet in reality, do we have even less control than we think we do? Interestingly, again, generally speaking, Reform Judaism has no real stance, no accepted doctrine related to predestination. The idea that God is omnipotent and omniscient didn't formally exist in Judaism at all during the biblical era, but rather was a later development due to the influence of Neoplatonic and Neo-Aristotelian philosophy. 20th century Jewish thinkers like Rabbi Harold Kushner, who we all know and love, have resolved the tension by holding that God is simply not omnipotent, not all-powerful. These thinkers, like Rabbi Kushner, are primarily liberal Jewish scholars and rabbis. Orthodox Jewish rabbis, however, generally affirm that God must be viewed as omnipotent in order to be God. But they have, if you push them, different views about what omnipotent really means. One finds that some modern Orthodox theologians have views that are essentially the same as more progressive theologians, but they might use different terminology for it. In recent centuries, Hasdai Kreskis's view that there is no free will has been further developed by some in the Chabad community, especially. Many individuals within Chabad take this view quite seriously and hence effectively deny the existence of free will at all. And yet, let's go back to Rabbi Akiva in Pirkei Avot, right around the 200s. All is foreseen, yet free choice is given. Many other Jewish thinkers affirm that since free will exists, then by definition, one's fate is not preordained. It's held as a tenet of faith that whether God is omniscient or not, nothing interferes with humanity's freedom. Even if God knows what you're going to do, you still have choice. And I know there are moments in my life that seem like they may be preordained. They seem to have a higher intelligence behind them. They seem meant to be. And yet I know there are also some moments in my life that I never will accept as meant to be. We all have some of those. For instance, some of you know, this is my one where I refuse to say it's ever meant to be, that in 2004, I was in a very serious car accident. Some of you know about this. And for years, there was hardship and pain, and I was disabled. Luckily, thank God, 11 years ago, in a few days, I had very successful spinal surgery, and it came back. Now, I will never ever say that my accident was meant to be. I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that. That would be a very disturbing conclusion. Yet, even if it were not meant to be, it doesn't mean I didn't learn something from it. We can't help but learn to have a deeper sense of compassion for those in pain, those who are suffering. I learned, whether I liked it or not, how important self-care can be. I learned how to properly and differently prioritize my life. And I learned about chronic pain. And I know that these lessons have made my life that much richer and more meaningful. And I hope that then my professional life is enhanced as well. Was my accident meant to happen so that as a rabbi I could learn these lessons? I refuse. But I have always been a perfectionist. I've been an overachiever. I put everyone else first, much to my own detriment. And post-accident, I didn't have any choice about that. I had to take my own needs into consideration so that I could be fully present in my work with others. Joseph says it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you to the land of Egypt. Were there things I was supposed to learn so that I could have my own effect on other people's lives? Joseph views his suffering, his challenges, his roller coaster narrative as a gift from God. And his arrival in Egypt not only allows the Egyptians to survive the famine, but it gets all of us Jews to Egypt so that what can happen then? We can, hundreds of years later, get freed from Egypt. Oh, talk about preordination. So whether or not you believe your life is predetermined, no matter what you think about free will, we can still choose to view events in our lives as teaching moments for ourselves, as inspiration for moving forward and allowing our own stories to continue to develop. So may we all look at our stories through a lens always of learning and growth. May we constantly strive for self-knowledge and insight. May we share our lessons with others so that the stories of our own lives, the lives of our friends and family, the story of the Jewish people, no less, continues to move forward into the future. And may we always find ourselves using our freedom and our knowledge and our lessons healing, and for good. Amen. Madam Vice President, would you like to give the announcements?
Yes,
It's about that time. Yeah, just move that chair out of the way.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, so this Sunday, on the 2nd of December, it is our Kivun Hanukkah celebration. All are invited. Then on Friday at 6 p.m., we will begin our congregation-wide Hanukkah celebration with a non-dairy potluck dinner. Please go online to sign up or call Tracy Kleinberg or Liz Jones. Here are my announcements. It says so right here. There will be no second Saturday service this month. Also on next Sunday, December 9th, we have at 9:30 Books and Bagels, shrink wrapped with Irene Silvers. Then 2 weeks out on Monday, oh no, that's actually the next day, after Books and Bagels, on that Monday we have from 12:45 to 6 p.m. the Red Cross Blood Drive. Thursday, December 13th, will be Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Bellows. Friday the 14th will be our Human Rights Shabbat service. There will be a presentation and discussion on the life and work of Constance Baker Motley. And then on Sunday, December 16th at 4 p.m., we will be volunteering in the Chester Soup Kitchen. And you can please, if you want to volunteer for that, which would be great, contact Joanna Schaefer. And tonight's Oneg is being sponsored by Tracy and Ethan Kleinberg in memory of Tracy's father, Saul Meller, who was an extraordinary man. And even if you only met him on one occasion, he was somebody you would never forget. And on the other coast today, people gathered to give blood in his memory. So, may his memory be a blessing.
I want to add one announcement that's not on this list because it's a program in development right now, also for Sunday morning, December 16th, during Kivun hours. We're going to have a potluck breakfast for the congregation, for religious school parents too, but really it's open to everybody. And then we're going to have a conversation both about what's been going on in the world, anti-Semitism, and also what we in the community, to promote healing, what we love and treasure about being Jewish. And so we'll be having some conversations and doing a few different types of conversations with each other. It's just a nice time to be together and continue our healing over the last month. And so stay tuned for a little more information about that, but it's going to be at 9:30 in the morning, starting at 9:30 on Sunday the 16th, and that will lead into the final presentation of this half of the year in Kivun, the gallery. The Kivun Gallery, do you want to say anything about that?
So we've shifted into this question mode where we tie all of our learning into this question, and the question is year is how does Jewish time impact life? So the kids have been studying context through that lens, their content rather through that lens, and we will be gathered together on the 16th, where all of the kids will be demonstrating by speech and by projects their learnings for this half of the year as connected to that topic, and they are awesome. So I really encourage anyone and all ones to please come and see what we've been up to.
Thank you. Page 586, Elaine in the middle of the page. Eva, you want to help us open the ark? Okay, thanks. Everyone please rise. If you hear the name of a loved one, a family member, or friend on our Shiva Shloshim Yortzeit list, and if you're comfortable doing so, you are invited to rise when you hear his or her name. This allows us to take a moment to recognize your loss and offer you comfort. And then we will all rise together to join you for the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish. This Shabbat, we mark the recent passing of Donald Bruler. We mark the Yortzeits, the anniversaries of death for Harry Archambault, Florence Gage, Harry Glazer, Adeline Barbara Goodman, Eileen M. Ilberman, Benjamin Jackaway, Miriam Clark, William Cochin, Rosamond Lewitt, Saul Meller, Jacqueline Michael, Eileen Moran, Hyman Peck, Philip Pekaroff, Edwin Perlstein, Lillian Schaftel, Adam Singer, Lester Sondak, Abraham Sprecher, Benjamin Sprecher, Justine V. Tobis, and Yvonne Young, Zichronam Livracha. Who else is marking Shiva Shloshim Yortzeit and would like to share a name out loud? May all of their memories be a precious blessing to those who know and love them. Together now we rise and we join the words of Kaddish Yitol. Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'alma divarach lirtei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei t'kol Beit Yisrael. V'agala u'bizman kariv imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah v'varach le'olam le'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imrumav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, and let us say, Amen.
Please be seated as we keep the memories of our loved ones that have been lost in our hearts. We move forward, and we will end tonight with a taste of the Hanukkah Tupalim with our first candle lighting beginning this Sunday night. So if you could turn to page 669, and we celebrate with Not by Night, but we're just going to take a second and get us to do this all the way through. We have to learn the right clap, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Not together, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It could be. It's a good thing. Well, I mean, at least they're spirited. Hey, how you doing? You don't like this? No, you're with me. Oh, what? Sidor. Sidor. Oh, we need Mr. Burnham. Please. She said, give me a cigarette. Sorry. Yes.
This is where we go. Yeah, it's true. It's like a big middle town person. just left you in all by yourself. You don't want to do